What's going on, good people? Listen, thank you so much for your time. For the ones who are going to hang around a little bit and allow me to kind of share a few points, a few stories. The main one is just really outlined behind the efforts I just put forward in introducing everyone to a new mindset, a new concept, also a new perspective with use everybody. And I've been talking about it for the last couple weeks. The digital book is out. If you haven't gotten it, go and get it. It's a great life hack. It's something that I believe that everyone should at least read, if not once, twice, because there's so many principles um, and foundational tools to help your mindset in regards to regardless of whatever it is that you're doing. So the book is called Use Everybody. The audio version is available. The, I narrated myself this time. I know some people was like, I didn't want to hear like AI, reciting your book. But this time I took the effort, I sat still and I went and recorded the audiobook so that it's available. So when you talk about use everybody, there's a framework is used. The U is for unlocking your story. The S is for shifting your mindset, and the E is for executing. Many times when people read books or when people go to seminars, they go and hear these magical panels and they are inspired and they're high-fiving their neighbor and they're clapping or they're popping their fingers, right? So they're really in the moment. But what I've seen happen, and statistically speaking, after maybe a day, sometimes a week or two, there's a decline in regards to that enthusiasm and that excitement and that ability to self-motivate yourself. So let me give you a bit of framework of unlocking your story, right? So let's do the you first. So use me for an example. One of the things that I wanted to do after my election, running for governor of California, I wanted to continue to get on stages and speak. Now, given before that, I wasn't doing that, right? So, how do I unlock my story and make it appealing enough for people to be interested in me? Now, as a this is a caveat. I ran for governor for crying out loud. So I spoke on many stages, made a lot of great connections, got a lot of votes. So there was that, but you still have to position yourself and leverage that in order to get or attract those opportunities. Now, that was a skill set that I naturally didn't have. I had to go and figure out how to position myself because there's one thing about being popular or famous or people knowing who you are, but what I realized, just like with entertainment and fame, it dies down. The momentum starts to die down because that moment, although it was a good moment, it starts to fade, it starts to shift. So what do you do to keep that momentum going, or how do you pivot and keep your own momentum going? And that's something that I had to learn. So I had to unlock my story. I had to package and redistribute my story to make it attractive, and that's what I did. So even what I'm doing right now, this is my own production. So when I'm getting off stages, sometimes people are running up. It's like, man, I want to do exactly what you're doing, Major. I want to speak all over. I want to get paid to speak. I'm like, well, why aren't you doing it? It was like, well, I'm still working on this. I'm working on my resume. I'm working on my deck and all this other stuff. We are in 2025. You can build the plane while you're flying the plane already. That's my thing. I want to fail as fast as possible. But the thing is, you have to start. You have to show people a journey up into where they meet you at. You don't come out all polished and have it all figured out. You have to put yourself in a position to get out there and start. So what I did was I created my own production. If I'm not getting booked to speak every other weekend, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go and just turn this camera on. I'm gonna get my microphone. I'm gonna set up a few lights, find a background, and I'm just going to start speaking. I don't care if one person hears me or 1,000 people hear me. This is an opportunity for me to work on my delivery. It's an opportunity for me to connect with the artist. It's an opportunity for me to fine tune my message, especially when I'm talking about the use framework. So I unlock my story by showing that initiative, by not waiting on anyone to give me validation to start. And so when I'm telling these young guys, when they're coming up to me saying, listen, I want to do exactly what you're doing, Major. I want to be on those stages. I'm saying, man, turn the phone on right now. This is what I did. I told him, turn the phone on. I said, turn it on selfie mode. He said, okay, all right. He turned it on selfie mode. I say, now that's your stage. Go ahead, do your thing. And it just blew their mind of that concept of how you can instantly take control of your entire situation and and just eliminate that program invisible barrier that you have to get validated by someone. This is the thing. Public speaking has evolved and it has changed. Maybe you're not on those stages that you want to be on, but you can be on the stage. You can be on a platform. You can be on YouTube. You can be on Facebook. You can be on Instagram, TikTok. You can be on LinkedIn. You can speak. There's one gentleman, he started doing his public speaking by just going and setting up and standing on corners in the homeless communities, just preaching the gospel. And he actually went viral. That's how he ascended. But when he went viral, before that, he had done that at least 500 times before. So when they seen him, he was already in his flow. He was already in his bag. He understood how to navigate the conversation while he was out there. So he was ready for that moment when that random person took their phone out and recorded him, just sharing the gospel, right? So when we talk about the S is for shifting your mindset. That goes along with what I said earlier about changing your perspective, changing the lens on how you look at success and what your abilities are, and understanding that in today's time, with all the technology, with all the information that's available out in the world, why should you be walking around lacking knowledge and learn and not knowing how to create a pathway for your future, your success, your desires, your ambitions, and the things that you want to do in this world? This is a magical moment. If you don't know, in the next 5 years, we are going to see the most millionaires you've ever seen before that don't have PhDs, master degrees, college diplomas, some GED. This is the era, if you understand the placement where we are right now when it comes to technology and how important it is to learn those new skill sets, how important it is to learn AI and technology that's blowing up all over the place. So S, shifting your mindset. Do you look at this situation as an obstacle that's going to hold you back, or do you start licking your chops? You see it as a challenge. You see it as an opportunity, right? So is it a challenge? Yes, it may be a challenge. You can acknowledge that, but you look at it as an opportunity to level up, to be able to have a journey, to be able to have a story, to be able to say, look, I started here, but I finished over here. Yeah, it was hard. It was hard. It was hard. But the way that I did it and the way that I continue to do it, I make it look easy. So that's the difference between a person that's hungry, a person that truly wants to win, a person who actually sees themselves as that greater person that they're working to be. Sometimes you just got to see it. You got to taste it. You got to feel it before you are actually that. And that's okay, because that's the thing that continues to push you forward when your feet are stuck in the mud sometimes, but that heart is still pumping. That heart is still pumping. That mind is still working. That vision is still clear. It's so close. You feel like you can reach out and you can touch your goal, the thing that you want the most, right? Shifting the mindset, eliminating those invisible barriers, looking at fear and saying you don't exist. A lot of people look at fear as like, oh, that's scary. No, you don't exist. When I see fear, I say you don't exist. I pardon it out of my way. Fear does not exist. Fear is conjured up in your own mind. An invisible barrier is conjured up in your own mind. Why do you think you can't do it? Because your parents say you can't do it, your wife or your husband or your friend, somebody online said you can't do it. You're the only one who matters in regards to saying if you can do something. And that comes with shifting your mindset. Shifting your mindset is one of the most important proponents of everything I talk about when I'm doing consulting, when I'm out speaking in corporate rooms, when I'm out speaking to young kids at group homes. Shifting your mindset is so important. How do you look at the world? How do you look at your situation? Because your situation is meant to build character. God does not give you more than what you can carry. So if you are in a season of struggle, just know that struggle is preparing you for a breakthrough. One more time, if you are a part of a struggle right now, just know that God is preparing you for a breakthrough. He's not trying to break you down, He's trying to give you a breakthrough. There's a huge difference. So on the flip side of it, right? E, you got to execute. Use unlocking your story. S, shifting your mindset. E, you got to execute. You got to execute. You got to use all that momentum and you have to execute. You have to eliminate fear. You have to eliminate doubt. You have to figure out a plan. You have to be disciplined. You have to be consistent. I know that's a lot of words like, oh my gosh, I got to do all these different things, but it really is all in one ball. It's all in one ball. It's just your being because it's locked up in here. You got to unlock it and say, listen, this is what I want to do. And one of the best ways to start executing is creating a habit of executing. What do I mean by that? If your goal is to do 100 push-ups a day, that could be the biggest goal for you ever because I'm sure that you probably have had certain fitness journeys and you fell off. It's because when you made that resolution during the New Year's, you went all in and you say you're going to do this for 2 hours and show up here, show up there. No, you can do this at your house. When you wake up, before you go to bed, after lunch, at your house, wherever you are, you can do 10 push-ups. Then you do another 10 push-ups. Then you do another 10 push-ups. Or you can do 25, 25, 25, 25. But what you're creating within yourself, you're creating a person who has habits of completing. It's the micro. The micro turns into the macro. You understand that? The micro habits turn into macro habits. So if you can do the little things, it'll translate and help you when it's time to do the big things at the end of the day. So use everybody as a concept. It's a negative connotation that I've reintroduced, repackaged, redistributed as a positive life force that anyone could use. It's understanding the power of using your resources, using your parents, using your friends. And I think many people have miscategorized it because they think of it or they've been programmed to think of it as a nasty, negative thing. Yes, it's a nasty and negative thing if you're doing it maliciously. But if you're doing it with a mutual benefit, I believe that anyone will allow themselves to be used if they know it's for mutual benefit or it's coming from an authentic, genuine place. It's really about partnerships. It's really about collaborations. And I jokingly tell everybody, our first breath in this world came from using our mother's wound. It literally, like the beginning of who we are started with us using our mother's womb to grow our limbs, to develop our lungs, to grow our ears, to grow our eyes, and our first breath, came from the incubator of us being able to be nurtured through the womb of our mother, right? I jokingly say that, but that's the truth. And so when people look at using people as a bad thing, it really isn't. Some of the most powerful people in the world that are most successful, that are the most active, probably people that you admire and you look after, they use people all the time. And I've talked about this story many times when I personally, some years back, 3 years ago, I went to a mastermind in Beverly Hills. It was a private mastermind, members only type of thing. But because I ran for governor, I was invited to go. It cost $55,000 per person. There were close to 300 people there. And the first thing I understood when I walked in that room, when I walked in that residence, I said, wow, if everyone here can afford $55,000 for a ticket for a 3-hour, 4-hour experience, this is the room I want to be in because I need one buddy. I need one friend. I need one partner. I need one yes or one yes here. That's how it works. But when I got online, because I was excited about everything I learned and the people I met when I was there, I got online on Instagram and I went live. And I was telling people about this experience. The first thing they would say, like, man, you bugging. Like, what? You paid $55,000 to go to a private mastermind? Man, I could have learned that on YouTube. Man, I could have went on Google and learned that, man. I mean, I could have went to the library and got a book and learned that. Well, two questions. One of them is, why haven't you done it? Because if you had done it already and you know that it's possible to do that, you would have been at that particular private mastermind because you've already known that, right? The second part of it, let's debunk that. You want to be in rooms like that that's going to allow you to connect with other individuals on a higher level. Look, rich people, people of affluence, people that are motivated, people are driven, high level business owners, they want to be around like minds, like spirits, like energies, and they want to form partnerships and alliances, and they use everybody. That's the thing about it. They already do it. They already do it. So why would you speak against that? I knew a guy, he actually couldn't afford to be there. One out of all the guys was there. 2 years ago, he went bankrupt. He had a business. He went bankrupt. He financed $55,000 because another person that was going told him how important it was for him to be in that particular space, that particular night. 2 years later, he is worth over $15 million because of one relationship. Standing by the bar, smoking a cigar, heard a random conversation, was able to add insight, input, laughter, cheer, let's connect, who are you, let's stay connected. Boom, 2 years later, he's worth $15 million. And the reason why a lot of people say, I would never do that is because they're not prepared to be in those rooms anyway. They're not prepared. They're not even the ones who would invest $9.99 in a digital book that's available right now. Use everybody on majorwilliams.com. They're not even prepared for that. They will push back on that. Like, man, I'm not, man, just give it to me for the low. What's the low? Free. Okay, even if you give it to them for free, there are people that are using it to pay $9.99 that's already applying it to their businesses or their life or their entrepreneurial journey. And they're not, even if they get it for free, they're not going to do nothing with it. So when I'm out talking about this concept of use, it's blowing people's mind, but it's also inspiring and transforming people's minds, their insides, their spirit, their insight, how they look at things. Life is a lot brighter now. The colors are a lot brighter. There's a lot more context when you understand the power of using everybody. Look, I said I was coming back, but I didn't know I was coming back.